the fact that you got a new nose, could you actually choose the nose that you got?
Yeah, the lady that made my nose, Kelly Morris at Birmingham QE, she said, what sort of nose do you want? And I actually looked at her nose and I said, your nose is lovely, Kelly. And she said, well, I'll make you my nose. So it's actually a mould of her nose.
So, let's make this clear. So this is not a reconstruction. This is a prosthetic nose.
This is actually...
Wow.
Just a nose that I take on
that's on
and off.
It's
on magnets.
It's magnets. Literally on and off like that.
And you're not worried about that coming off?
I have sneezed it off once.
Yes.
So I do tend to hold my knees now, hold my nose now when I sneeze.
And you have your late dog, your lovely dog, Cece.
That's right.
To thank for all of this. Tell people what happened.
Basically, what happened, sort of April, March time in 2012, my really big 14-stone dog jumped up and knocked my nose, gave me the most horrific nosebleed, and from then on, my nose was weird. It swelled, it bled a lot, I had a lot of pain. They sent me to see David Roberts at Guy's and St Thomas's, and I said, as I walked in, my dog's hit my nose, and it's been strange, and he said, it's nothing to do with your dog. You've got an autoimmune disease. Has anybody tested your blood? And I said, no, not at all. So he tested my blood, and they discovered that I'd got a type of vasculitis. I've got Wegener's granulosis matosis, which mainly affects your ENT and your upper airways and your lungs.
And that was literally making your nose disintegrate?
Yeah, it was basically necrotising. It was eating away. So my septum crumbled and went, and my nose started to fall into my face. So over the period of a couple of years, it went from being swollen and odd to completely flat, and as you saw in the clip on This Time Next Year, gone.
In 2013, you were playing the violin with the orchestra, and this is the Isle of Wight Symphony Orchestra.
That's correct.
Who you worked with on the isle itself, and you had a seizure.
Yes, that's right. We were just starting a Mendelssohn overture.
Yeah. And so, so that obviously takes you to hospital.
Yes.
You are then checked out, and it's found that you have a brain tumour.
Well, they told me I had something in my head which wasn't supposed to be there.
So you eventually go and have this operation, and obviously because of your love of music, this is extremely important to you. And you'd heard about Professor Ashcan through the Brains Trust, and you knew that he was a musician, not magician, a musician, and that in actual fact he would understand this desire that you had, that if anything, when any work was going to be done in your brain, that you would want to protect that part of your brain that enabled you to play so beautifully. And I'd heard of this before. This was something that was quite well known.
Yeah, basically, Dagmar came to me and we had a very frank conversation. She said to me, look, what matters to my quality of life more than anything else is my ability to be able to continue to play violin. Can you do the operation, remove the tumor, but leave those aspects that makes me human, makes me live and love what I do best? Can you preserve that for me? And we had a very frank discussion and said, well, we can certainly try. So we got probes in surgery where we can stimulate different parts of the brain, and if that stimulation disrupts a function, in her case, ability to play violin or move her very dexterous fingers between one string to the other, we know that part of the brain is critical to that function. And therefore, we have to avoid it. Of course, very dynamic, because as you remove tumor, obviously that mapping you did 10 minutes ago becomes a historical document. Of course. You have to remap, resect, remap, resect, and continue the procedure until hopefully remove as much of a tumour as possible and left Dagmar as wonderful as she is.
How did you feel when you got that diagnosis? Did you know anything about vitiligo? Did you know how bad it might become?
No, I actually didn't know anything about vitiligo at all.
So what was it like the first time, Ayamiko, that you went out without your makeup, without that mask, I suppose, which was giving you confidence? What was it like to step out the door as you?
Oh, my God. I was like, I was petrified. I'm not going to even lie. Because the first time I went out without makeup, I actually went to a grocery store. So, you know, there's lots of people at grocery stores. So I, like, literally watched everybody's faces. And my fiance, he grabbed my hand and he was just like, relax. Not that many people are paying attention to you the way you think. And I just couldn't know. I just kept looking and to see their reaction.
And then when you make it out the door, you've got the people who matter to you most, like your fiancé, Phillip, who every time you mention his name, you light up. He's obviously a great source of strength and comfort to you. And then your children, your 4 children as well. Is this vitiligo, was this passed on? Do any of them have it?
No, not one of them have it at all.
We all know that men don't like to talk about these things, Jack. So have you ever spoken to any of your friends when you were younger? When did you first start thinking, I'm not as the right size?
I was probably about 18.
18.
In the change rooms at football, all the lads then would just start laughing, taking the mick out of you, getting a bit of banter, like, nothing too horrible, like, but just normal banter you get between lads. And then, in the end, you just think, oh, am I really smaller than everyone else?
But Clive, could I ask you, is that then regarded as a handicap, or is that sort of like, look, it's small, but we can cope with it. It works for us.
Personally, I don't see it as a handicap, no. Like you say, it works perfectly fine for me, you know.
But you must have compared yourself, like you were saying, Jack.
Yeah, no,
you know,
I have
you're in
done,
the showers at school or whatever.
And like you say, in school, you do get little, not bullying as such, but, you know, get named, banters and all this, niggled. And you just have to deal with it, to be fair.
There's over 1 million children in the UK who've all got disabilities, and Angus is actually one of a kind. He's completely unique in every single way. As you can see, he's saying hello to you.
That's hello.
I just wanted to bring to everybody's attention that it's not just the bog standard, I don't want to say bog standard, but syndromes like Down syndrome. There are actually a lot of children with what they call personal...
more usual challenges.
There's a lot of children with what they call personal syndromes who fight a lot of battles because people don't recognise them, so they struggle sometimes to get services and stuff like that.
So, Tansy, let's go back 13 years.
Yes.
Let's go back to when you were pregnant.
Yes.
So you're pregnant.
Yes.
And whilst you're pregnant, you said you felt that there was something not right.
Yes.
You felt that there was something wrong because you couldn't feel Angus kicking, could you?
Yes, because his older brother was like a footballer when he was inside me. And Angus, basically, he just didn't really move at all. When a child's born, they do the regular sort of tests on them, and he didn't respond accordingly, so he was taken into special care. And he stayed there for about, I think we were going to be released after 10 days, and then unfortunately he had a seizure. And then I think we got home after about 2.5 weeks. They did some genetic tests, and then 3 weeks after that they were able to tell me that they'd found this unique chromosome abnormality, and they'd found it purely by accident.
And it is so unique, it's not even got a name.
No, I just call it a personal syndrome or happy syndrome because he laughs so much.
Having a lovely time.
On the day that you were due to start your new job as a sales executive, you woke up at 4 a.m.
4 a.m. with pains, like period-like pains.
Yeah, and so then you went to work, once again, desperate to make a good impression on your first day. There was a 2-hour meeting, and you're standing up in this 2-hour meeting. How did you feel during that?
Well, I remember holding a pen in my mouth and breaking the pen, and my nails were digging into my notepad. It was every 5-10 minutes there'd be a wave of pain. I can't describe it.
And so even
which would have been a contraction.
At that time, I didn't know it was contraction.
Even at that point, you say, right, OK, I'm so sorry. I know it's my first day, but I have to go.
I didn't wait for a reply. I just shot out the door.
Well, the pain was excruciating, and you actually, at times, were screaming in pain. Yeah, and this alerted your neighbour next door that heard.
It actually alerted my caretaker first.
Right.
And he was the one that knocked on the door. And... But because he's a man, obviously he didn't feel like it was his place to get involved. So he knocked on my neighbour's door, he knew that she was home.
And so she came in to see you.
And so the neighbour, you say, I need an ambulance, and the neighbour goes out. At which point?
I have an instinct to push. Very.
An overwhelming instinct to push. And the baby's head appears.
And your neighbour saw it first and said it's a baby?
No, she was actually in the kitchen when I screamed, it's a baby. Oh my God, it's a baby.
Oh my God. So because the beauty of pregnancy is that you have 9 months to get your head around this, to prepare, to bond, to even for the labour, to get ready for that in some way.
Yeah, no.
You had none of that.
Nothing at all.
So what was your initial emotion?
When you saw the head?
I can't describe it. It was such a shock.
For many of us, taming children's unruly hair is a daily ritual. But what if your little one's locks can't be tamed?
Well, that's exactly what our next guests know all about, as 7-year-old Winter suffers from a condition called Uncombable hair syndrome. It's thought to affect just 100 people in the world.
Well, she joins us today alongside her mum, Charlotte, and welcome to both of you. It's so lovely to have you here. Winter, thank you for coming along as well. So, Charlotte, to begin with, when she was first born, what sort of hair did Winter have as a baby?
She had a full head of jet black hair.
Really?
Yeah.
So it changed quite frequently, didn't it? From colour to texture? Just explain what happened there.
It started to fall out after a few months, didn't it? And it sort of came through blonde and sort of sprouted quite white blonde hair, super straight blonde hair, actually.
Well, by 3, it was uncontrollable.
Pretty much, yeah.
So in what way uncontrollable? Is it difficult to brush? Is it...?
It's very difficult to brush. It's sore to brush. It's quite matted. That's the only way I can describe it. Because it's longer now, it's you can hide it a little bit more, can't we? But underneath it's very wiry, very sort of matted together, isn't it?
So how do you look after it, I guess? Because hair has to be brushed, I guess, when you go to school. Hair has to be tied back. I know you're a dancer, so, you know, for dance events, hair normally has to be quite neatly tied away. So how do you deal with these things?
We struggle, don't we? We've tried absolutely everything, every product you can think of, and the only thing that seems to help a little bit is oil. Any sort of oil seems to give it a bit of tameness to it, but it still ends up going really crazy.
I like it. Beautiful.
I think it
really
looks great.
do. I think
you
your hair's
own it.
Incredible. You're going to love that lift route when you're older, let me tell you.
As parents, all you want in life is for your child to be happy and healthy. But when Chantel and Samuel Marshall's daughter Sophia was just 7 weeks old, they were told she would never be able to walk due to a rare birth defect.
Well, refusing to give up hope, the couple did everything they could to help their daughter, and in October 2018, Sophia defied all the odds and took her first steps.
You started doing your own physio.
Yeah.
In what way? How were you doing that?
Yeah, so she's about 4 months old, wasn't she? In the hospital bed still at Birmingham Children's Hospital. And your family brought her some helium balloons, didn't they?
Get well balloons.
Yeah.
And she just decided that it was kind of an organic thing that they gave her a balloon and she decided to start trying to kick it. So we just developed that, being told that she wouldn't be moving her legs at all when she started to do that, we thought.
Bearing in mind you've been told she will never
I mean,
walk.
Yeah.
That must give you, as soon as you see her little legs sort of moving and kicking, you must have had a bit of hope there.
Yeah,
definitely.
helium balloon became our best friend.
Yeah,
we couldn't let
it
it go, we
did.
had to get another one and another one.
So on October the 28th, 2018, it's a quiet Sunday morning.
Yeah.
What happened?
Yeah, do you want to...
Just sat down as we normally would to get Sophia's breakfast. I made her coffee in the kitchen. We all sat down, apart from Sophia, who then stood up and decided to... She was always, for about a month, a few months before that, she was lifting up against the sofa as a toddler would on their way. But she decided she was off into the kitchen, so walked off.
Get her own biscuits.
Didn't look like she was going to fall over at all. It was like she'd always been walking. Kind of behind our backs, but she walked straight into the kitchen and then didn't stop for half an hour, 45 minutes or so.
We just looked at each other, didn't we? Like mouse to the floor, really, like a cartoon. Yeah, I just couldn't believe it. It's like we were dreaming, wasn't it?
We kind of didn't want to say anything to stop her, so just watched for a bit.
Took a few sneaky videos, rang all the family, like screaming, she's walking.